Day is finally here. The FTC has agreed to investigate loot boxes, and I kind of suspected this was going to happen after the report came out in the UK that childhood gambling was up something like 400%. But let's take a look at what just happened inside those government walls.
Wow.
Earlier this year at the confirmation hearing
Jesus
for most
Christ.
of you, I discussed the possibility of
That's
the
insane.
FTC examining the issue of children in the video game space. Specifically, we discussed loot boxes, which allow in-game purchases with real currency for surprise winnings, and most of you agreed that this is an area that could use additional oversight by the FTC.
I want to pause this right now and explain that this lady has probably demonstrated a better understanding of anything involving video games than 98% of other lawmakers and politicians. Like, she didn't talk about them being murder simulators. I mean, like, and it's funny because you have all these old guys that are like 68 years old and they're the senator for the state, and their 20-year-old, like, basically girl that they hired because the guy thought that she was hot, secretary, has to show the guy every fucking morning how to open up his email. And this guy's deciding what's going to happen with your water supply.
Loot boxes are now endemic in the video game industry and are present in everything from casual smartphone games to the newest high-budget video game releases. Loot boxes will represent a $50 billion industry by the year 2022, according to the latest research estimates. Children may be particularly susceptible to engaging with these in-game purchases, which are often considered integral components of video games. And just this month, Great Britain's Gambling Commission released a report finding that 30% of children have used loot boxes in video games. The report further found that this exposure may correlate with a rise in young problem gamblers in the United Kingdom. Belgium, the Netherlands, Japan, and other countries have all moved to regulate the use of loot boxes in video games, given this close link to gambling.
That's right.
So given the seriousness of this issue, I think it is, in fact, time for the FTC to investigate these mechanisms to ensure that children are being adequately protected and to educate parents about potential addiction or other negative impacts.
It's not the EU, it's the GU. The Gamers Union, boys. It's beautiful. We love it.
Of these games. Would you commit to undertaking this project and keeping this committee informed about it?
Yes.
Wow. No hesitation on
Damn.
that answer. Now, what does this mean? Well,
yo, you know that guy bought an Overwatch loot box and it came out with one of those gray-ass skins that he already fucking had. He knows exactly what she's talking about, and he's like, yeah, we are gonna fuck those guys so hard. And I love it, dude. It's beautiful.
Nothing in the government moves very quickly. And given the way our Supreme Court is set up, I'm not entirely sure that they're going to be super inclined to want to impose regulations, but who really knows? Certainly, in my opinion, there's definitely some level of loot boxes that are just in that red zone where it's clearly predatory when you have, just over the top. For example, remember that game where the Disney game where your character is getting strangled by a vine until you put more money in? That, in my opinion, would be one of the easiest home runs to just remove from games in recent memory. Anyway, let's take a look at how people are covering this. So the FTC agreed today to investigate loot game boxes following an official request by Senator Maggie Hassan. In Congressional Oversight Committee hearing earlier today, FTC Chairman Joe Simmons affirmed Senator Hassan's request that loot boxes be investigated. The exchange took place in Senate Commerce Subcommittee hearing that was mainly focused on data privacy issues, but which ranged into other territories. She said, loot boxes are now endemic in the video game industry and present in everything from casual smartphone games to the newest high-budget releases, adding that loot boxes represent $50 billion industry by the year 2022, likely referring to the report earlier this month by Juniper Research. Game publishers often include loot games in their boxes, which offer in-game boosts and prizes, sometimes at a cost. The practice has flourished in recent years, particularly following enormous success in games like FIFA series, but has also been met with consumer resistance in the past year. In 2017, Electronic Arts had to retool Star Wars Battlefront 2 following accusations that the game was designed around extracting cash from players through loot crates. Well, duh. Hassan warned that children are particularly susceptible to loot boxes and that represent a close link to gambling. She pointed to moves in other countries, including Japan, Netherlands, and Belgium, to bring legislation to control the use of video game loot boxes. Last year, Representatives Chris Lee and Sean Quinlan held a news conference in Hawaii that assailed loot boxes for preying on
How'd they do it
children.
in
That was right
Hawaii?
around the Battlefront 2 time, if I remember correctly.
So far
It's
away.
time for the FTC to investigate, and now there's an update. The ESA sent us the following statement. Loot boxes are one way that players can enhance the experience that video games offer. Contrary to assertions, loot boxes are not gambling. They have no real-world value. Players always receive something that enhances their experience, and they are entirely optional to purchase. They can enhance the experience of those who choose to use them, but have no impact on those who do not. Wow. Well, I would argue that loot boxes absolutely have effect on people that choose not to use them. That's an absurd defense.
Here, this is a great idea. You know what they should do? In order to make that statement true, here's what they should do. They should make loot boxes that you open, but every single time you open the box, there's nothing there. So you open up the box, nothing. It doesn't change anybody else's game experience. Everything's fine. Nothing changes for anyone. And you still get the satisfaction and rush out of opening up the box. What's going to be in it? Nothing. Every single time. And that way, what he's saying can be true.
The fact that they're not required to play the game is such a slippery, slimy statement. I don't even know where to begin. Yes, some games do loot boxes correctly, while other games make loot boxes like Dungeon Keeper, for example, in the new mobile game, absolutely required to enjoy even the most basic functions of the game. So the idea that they're all non-gambling is absurd. Some certainly are, and you don't have to go very far to see them. Now, players do react negatively to just about any microtransactions built into games this year, and that's because we've become very defensive.
That's right.
We're very worried that games become pay to win, and if there were no regulation, certainly games would continue to head into that direction. Now, will anything happen from this? I don't know. It's hard to say. Certainly, I think investors in the open market will be watching this extraordinarily closely. Companies like EA that rely so strongly on microtransactions to affect their bottom line are going to be very nervous. Games that exist on their own in the $60 or $70 or $80 title range that get purchased for just being amazing games like Red Dead Redemption probably aren't too worried about it. Or, for example, Dragon Quest. There may be small microtransactions, but they don't appear to represent a very large portion of the income stream. What does this mean for the future? Well, I think at the very minimum, we can expect, if there's any regulation, even if there's any thoughts of regulation, we can expect to see game prices increase to offset that. That's unfortunate. We can also see probably some more moves to this always online.
That's actually a really interesting point, what he's saying, and I think it's true. Would you rather pay more money for a game up front, right? Because I think most games nowadays are like $60. That's why it's like 80. Like, I don't know any game is $80, right? Would you rather pay $65 or $70 for a game and have no microtransactions?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, good. I feel the same way. I would rather pay more money for a quality product that delivers the experience that it was intended to with no strings attached than be nickel and dimed by little bits of bullshit that I don't fucking care about. Yes, I do care. And that's what I would prefer.
Monthly subscription to games, revenue for games industry that don't necessarily fall into the loot box. So if the loot boxes see any regulation, which I'm up in the air, and I'm curious what you have to think about it, is this all smoke and mirrors, or will the FTC actually put the hammer down? That's, I don't know, up in the air to me. But if they do, even if there's a hint of regulation, I can be reasonably sure that this isn't going to just be a net positive for gamers. Game companies will find a more annoying way to make their money anyway. So maybe this is something, the balance of, the loot boxes are the devil we know. Now, if we push them out of the games, what is going to happen? What new monetization methods are they going to have? Are they going to sell us the games in pieces even more than they do now? I don't know. But certainly some regulation in loot boxes seems like what the community wants. I'm just nervous about what any real strict rules from the government might bring us, what nasty thing it might bring us instead. I'm looking forward to hearing what you think in the comment section down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
So here's the thing. How are the game journalists going to spin this as sexism? I got it. Women only make 77 cents for every dollar that a man makes. So if you increase the price of games, it's effectively trying to get women to not play video games.
What? But that stat's not even true. That's just a myth. That's just a fucking
Believe
flat-out
women!
lie. No, that's not.
Believe women!
True. But that's not even true. Like, that number doesn't even... This doesn't make
We've got
sense
ourselves
at
a sexist in here. This is disgusting.
What?
We're going to ban him from Twitter.
What the fuck?
Again! Listen, dude, like, this is like... I'm actually so glad that people are fucking talking about this. I fucking hate these loot boxes things. Wait, Pokemon games shut down, dude? Is another one? I like how this guy... Like, so there's this guy, right? And... Everybody, like, a lot of people have given me negative feedback about this guy. They don't like him for whatever fucking reason. I've never been, like, the kind of person to be like, well, this guy did something bad 2 years ago, so I'm never going to watch his content anymore, right? I don't know what he's doing. I think the video that he made is good, and I just want to make a statement about that, because I have looked at a couple of things, right? Okay.
Chinglish hates the guy.
Two?
Chinglish hates him.
Why does he not like him?
Well, because he was banned from like some Magic.
Yeah, I know Chinglish is like involved in the Magic Gathering community, and I know there was like some drama with this guy in Magic Gathering. I don't know how it happened. I don't know what happened. I don't know. I have no idea. And like the way that I look at it is that like if he's putting out content that I agree with, I'll be like, okay, good, keep that up. And as soon as some kind of other bullshit happens, I'll have my opinion about that too. Cornering exposed Magic Gathering. Yeah, I heard back and forths about that. And also, like, I actually went to a card shop and they talked about some of the problems that Magic Gathering is having now. And there's a lot of smaller card shops that, in order to actually participate in drafts, I believe this is what happens now, because Wizards of the Coast sanctions drafts, right? Friday Night Magic for, like, Magic Gathering. And this is what a guy told us at a card shop, right? And he said that you have to have background checks on all of your employees in order to be able to do sanctioned Magic Gathering drafts that were in the DCI. And it was pretty kind of crazy. And it was about, I don't know really why it happened. I think I remember, but I don't want to say the wrong thing. But I'm very, guy does zero research. Well, okay, but I mean, like, how is this video wrong? Right? I mean, like, he played the clip of what the person said. Like, I mean, I'm not, like, there's nothing about that video that's really wrong.
I hope the fucking FTC comes in and fucks all these companies right up the fucking ass, no lube, dude. Yeah. I don't want any more fucking loot boxes. I don't want any more fucking microtransactions, any kind of fucking gambling, none of that. I want them to fucking just completely fuck them right in the ass, and I want them to actually try to make decent-ass games again. This is bullshit.
When did you think that it went wrong? Like, at what point did we go from playing video games to gambling? Where was it?
Damn. Maybe like CSGO.
CSGO?
I would say CSGO because they kind of like, hey kids, you want to buy a crate? You want to buy some keys? You want to get this skin that your famous, your favorite famous streamer has?
Okay, Phantom Ward, let me use your site and gamble on it.
Ooh, no,
he's banned on Twitch. It's fine.
You can't.
He's banned on Twitch. Yeah, of course.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he's banned.
Oh,
we can make fun of that clown all day, dude.
Yeah,
Fuck that guy, man. Like all the other guys for
I don't know
some
about
reason
that.
didn't get banned, but you know, that's the way it goes. But yeah, Phantom War's banned. We can make fun of him all we want. And I don't feel bad about that at all. The guy's a piece of shit, man. Like anybody that's like yeah, CS:GO was the beginning of it, I guess. And you know what the worst part about it is that I feel like the internet has actually made this possible because you have these fucking fanboys that'll defend it, right? There'll be people that EA can shit in their fucking mouth, and those people will say, "Thank you, sir. Please do this again."
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yep.